Alright guys, got a new video here today, and in this one I wanted to express one of the biggest things that I hope gets addressed in UFC 5. I mean, there are a lot of things that I hope change or can be added, but this one kind of deals with the stamina system. As you can tell already, my opponent is coming out very aggressive. I'm using Cyborg, she's using Durandamain, and honestly, I think the whole point of this video just kind of highlights how much I want a kind of simulation kind of style when it comes to striking and I guess just stamina overall for this game. UFC 4 it's a very fast-paced fighting game, to be honest. And because it's so fast-paced, I generally don't like to play in the lighter divisions. Simply because, one, the fighters are faster, and two, they generally have like much higher cardio. So they're able to kind of employ this really aggressive style. And it can be kind of hard to deal with. Now, let me make one thing clear. Were there things that I could have done to make this fight easier for me? Yes. Could I have clinched up and tried to wrestle more? Yes. But I'm using Cyborg, and grappling's not her strong suit, right? She's a striker. She's a powerful striker, known for her knockouts, and I try to use that as such. And I get that Durandamain is also a kickboxer as well. But my main issue with this fight, and I guess with this whole style that UFC 4 allows players to use without much consequence, you'll see in the fight stats, my opponent threw, I think, like 120 strikes in this first round. Now, I've landed like some body shots here and there. I've managed to rock my opponent like a few times, at least once in this round. But my biggest thing that I want to highlight is, despite the fact that my opponent has thrown a ridiculous amount of strikes in this first round, they were actually able to keep the same pace in the second round. It seemed like he didn't have to worry about his stamina at all. I can only, when it comes to real life, I can only think of a handful of fighters that could actually consistently keep that pace. Biggest example, obviously, being Max Holloway. I think the second example, maybe Colby Covington. Maybe Mighty Mouse, but I don't know if Mighty Mouse has ever thrown with that kind of volume before. Point being, generally, when most fighters throw that amount of strikes in that amount of time, they generally have to kind of rest up. Perfect example of this, watch the second fight between Gray Maynard and Frankie Edgar. Gray Maynard came as close to finishing Frankie Edgar as any man possibly could without finishing him. Gray threw I think almost 100 strikes in the very first round trying to get Frankie out of there. But because he didn't get Frankie Edgar out of there in that first round, he had to literally take the second round off just to regain some stamina. And I want to see that in the game too, man. If you're throwing with a ridiculous amount of volume and you don't get me out of there, I want your stamina to take a big hit. I want your character to move visibly slower. I want your character to not have as much power because you don't have the same stamina that you had at the very start of the fight, man. And I don't want to like be penalized for like trying to fight somewhat realistically, you know? That's really my rant of the day. The fight's pretty much ending here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like, am I the only one that feels this way? Just let me know down in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next video.